Hi, folks. Rob Downs with Managed IT Solutions, and it is time for Tech Talk Tuesday, Thursday edition. Yeah, I missed Tuesday. I apologize. I'm sure you all were wondering where I went, at least the half dozen or dozen of you that actually see these. So, uh, again, apologies. The thing about live stream is you kind of have to be live to go streaming, and I was not feeling like the living. So, anyhow, this week, I'm going to touch on both some AI stuff and some cybersecurity stuff, as is normal, I think, these days. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that we do have, uh, I will get this right one day, midsame.com if you want to go have a chat with us about how we can help your business utilize AI efficiently. It is not a discussion about tools, it's a discussion about strategy. So just keep that in mind if we talk or you schedule a talk with me. So, from a cyber standpoint, I want to pivot to more of a home users talk or discussion. We had someone call in to the offices last week, concerned about some things at their home, and um, the person who I talked to was fairly knowledgeable, but just want to make sure people understand what's going on for your home and what what your options are and what you can expect to pay. Unfortunately, it's going to be close to what businesses pay if you think that your network's been hacked or your stuff's been compromised, and you need somebody to come in and do a hardcore cleanup and figure out what's going on. Gentleman was convinced that his neighbor might have hacked his home network and infected some of his computers, etc. So during the conversation, though, did come to realize that the only antivirus he was using was Windows Defender, which not horrible. I would say it's better than nothing for the most part. And it does come with Windows now, so you've got something there. But really, it's a good base. But that's what it is. It's a good base. I don't think that it looks for as many traditional things, and it's certainly not what we would consider um, best of breed when it comes time to worry about protecting your computer assets, right? So, uh, we recommend, either like Sophos for home or Bitdefender Gravity Zone for home as well. They both have family packages, by the way. Um, we have referral links somewhere, but I don't know where they are, so I'm not looking to make money off of this when I tell you to use them. It's just we've got experience with both products, and they're both pretty good, right? So I know that Sophos and Bitdefender usually run about $100 a year or something like that for 5 computers. So that certainly will cover most people's home computer stack. So they've got some individual, if you're not in a family way, that you have to worry about those things. So go out there, get yourself some extra protection. I know that in the past we've talked about passwords and password managers. I just want to reiterate, get a good antivirus on your computers. Macs too. Macs get viruses. I know people don't believe it still. I don't know why. It happens. And then I know with Bitdefender, I think they have a built-in VPN that you can use as well. So if you're looking for some VPN protection when you're on strange Wi-Fi's, that's always a good thing. I don't believe Sophos Home comes with that option. So yeah, there you go. And ultimately, if you do get hacked at home, what you're normally going to end up dealing with is loss of data. They're going to encrypt your files. If you've been if you've got things synced to cloud, that's fine. Maybe they weren't able to pass the corruption of the sync, or maybe your sync has an older copy that you could have up there. But I'd still recommend getting having a backup solution at home, right? Back up your files. Don't only back up to an external drive. Normally, as a bad guy, if I'm encrypting your local computer, I'm going to encrypt your external hard drive too if it's connected. So yeah, you're hosed either way. Go get yourself a little NAS box. Western Digital used to make one that you drop on your network. Buffalo makes one. Synology makes one. There's several vendors who make them out there. And then you can just have it back up your computer. You can use Time Machine for your Mac. as well. So if you're a Mac heavy end environment, make sure you get something that's compatible with Time Machine. And then you've got something off your computer, has its own credentials, and you can restore from backup if that's necessary. Also, keep in mind that bad guys, when they encrypt your data, usually they'll take your data too. So, in businesses, that's usually going to be a problem with intellectual property or clients' data. At home, probably the most sensitive files are going to be photos. If you've got any photos that you don't share with the general public, make sure you don't have any of those, right? Kids' information, that would be another thing I'd be worried about protecting, their identities, their social security number, stuff like that. So having a good backup is going to help you. Having an antivirus is going to be excellent. And the gentleman asked us how much it would cost for us to come in and remediate some stuff, and I gave him an estimate. It was $1,000 to start, right? And that was us being nice, because I didn't know how in depth we'd have to be. And I also told him that there's no guarantee it was just going to be that would cover him for a few hours, and then we charge him again. I couldn't put a cap on the top of it, and I couldn't guarantee results, right? And that sucks. I hate doing that, but it's the nature of the beast, right? So ultimately, I could have brought in a full security team, third party, but all our vendors who have them, their retainer, what they start with, is about a minimum of $15,000. So it's not cheap to get these things done. And just so you know, the gentleman had contacted the police department, and they basically wouldn't give them the time of day. The cops just don't have time to deal with it, right? They've got real life criminals that they're worried about. Not to say that hackers aren't real life criminals, but they've got people who are, threatening the life and limb of people in person, and not, making their life difficult or extorting them for money. So I had to explain to him that, the FBI won't get involved in our area, Central North Carolina, probably for anything less than $2 million in extortion money, right? Ransomware, that type of thing. And that, we're lucky, because if you were in New York City or Washington, D.C. or L.A., it used to be like 10 million. I think it's now up to like 20 million before they'll get involved, because there's just too much going on and they don't have the resources, and it sucks. I should have gotten water. Oh well, or a glass of water. I had water. I drank it all. So that's what I've got to cover on cybersecurity for home. Work on getting your backups done. If you need help with it, just let us know. I'm happy to pop up some suggestions. And if you put something in the comments, and then, good antivirus, MDR type of, or EDR type of stuff. So, for AI, kind of AI related, just went to go order some computers for clients that we had quoted at the end of the year last year, which was all of 2 weeks ago. And so the quotes were about 3 weeks old. Our vendor is no longer keeping quotes for more than 2 weeks because of the volatility of the market. And so the price of their systems had been, let's say, $2,000 a piece. When I requoted them, it was now $2,500 a piece. It was a 25% bump, basically. I think we had one at $1,000 that was up to $1,250, and then again, 2,000 had gone up to 2,500. So that's a huge bump in 30 days. So prices aren't getting any better, and you can blame AI, which is how AI comes to this conversation. AI has, in the past 6 months, doubled prices for memory. They don't use the same memories in regular desktops and laptops, but they use the same facilities to get manufactured and the same resources to get manufactured. So manufacturers are cutting back on the standard memory that they're putting out there in favor of producing memory for these data centers. And the same thing can be said for storage. So larger capacity SSD drives have gone up appreciably. I think they've doubled also in the past 6 months. You might be able to get some smaller ones, 1 terabyte, stuff like that, 2 terabyte for a smaller bump, but they have also gone up. But yeah, if you're looking at 8 terabyte or 4 terabyte, those are not cheap. So there's your AI dollars at work. Also, your energy bill's probably gone up. Same reason, AI. So, I mean, as much as I love AI, there's definitely some downside to it. There's all these memory, obviously, storage, and energy prices. So you don't get something for nothing, right? It's always been the same, and that is never more true than with AI. So, the last thing I'd like to cover, because I'm not writing a script here today. I don't have a big old script laid out. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. It's just a reminder for AI. Be careful what you put in there. Make sure you're in private mode. If you're using ChatGPT or, well, actually Claude, I think. Actually, Claude might have changed the terms. So you need to make sure you stay on top of the terms and conditions that they're putting out there, and that you're able to turn your inputs into private mode if you need to. So it's not training the model. It doesn't become part of the large language model that if somebody were to put in there, do you know what the financial were for managed IT solutions for 2024? Right. So if I'd uploaded it and not protected it, type of thing, that could be something that popped up. So you want to make sure you're checking those privacy settings before you're using it, right? So, and then something I mentioned last week as well, bears repeating, AI is feeding AI. So if you are doing research with AI, if you're getting information from AI, double check the sources that it's quoting. I know ChatGPT will put sources up there now, but typically you want to get something from a reputable source. .gov used to be a great source, or a pretty solid source. These days, some people are playing fast and loose with what goes on the .gov sites, which should never be governed by administrations. You really should not, regardless of your political leanings. And then usually EDU sites are that way. But again, depending on the political winds, they could be trying to counter .gov sites. So again, just be careful where you get your data from, especially if it's from a site that's only been there for 3 weeks and it's billybobs.ai, facts and sources, right? Whatever. So definitely get out there to start using AI, leverage it. You're paying for it one way or the other. And get to learn the tool, right? It's like anything else. I think people hype it a little too much sometimes, but at other times, I think they're not utilizing it enough. And AI can do so much more than just answer questions better than Google can, right? There's a lot it can do. But always double check its work, its output. So that's all I've got for you. We should be returning to our regular bat time and bat channel next week, though that is actually in flux. If you've got some ideas for best times, let me know. I've had a meeting pop up that comes up 1 o'clock on Tuesdays now, where I used to be free at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays. I could start doing a Tech Talk Thursdays instead of Tech Talk Tuesdays, but it doesn't roll off the tongue in alliteration as well, which, if anyone knows me, I love a good alliteration. So, should be doing it at noon, 12:30, something like that, or should do a little bit later in the afternoon, like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So those are my options currently. Remember, cybersecurity starts with you. I want to also say, aim higher, operate smarter, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks.